Fred Hampton. This is Fred Hampton. Fred was a part of the Black Panthers, a black activist group that fought for the rights of black people. Fred was born on August 30th of 1948. Before Fred was a part of the BPP, he was a part of the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Black People. Fred joined the Black Panthers in November of 1968. He became respected and trusted early on. They entered from the street, which is Monroe Street, through the front door and into the living room where they saw all the Black Panthers congregating and eating food. They then went through the hallway and saw Fred Hampton's security guard killing him right instantly. They then entered the room and shot up the whole room, leaving his bed like this. Then they shot Fred Hampton lots of times, but he was unconscious, so they didn't know if he was dead or not. They then saw he wasn't dead and then shot him twice in the head. This is the police happily taking Fred Hampton after they killed him, happily that they actually killed the leader of the Illinois Black Panther Project. This is William O'Neill. He was the FBI informant who told the FBI when and where Fred Hampton would be. He quickly rose to leadership in the Black Panther Project because he was the trusted person on the project. When he rose to leadership, he asked the cook that night and put something in Fred's food that made him become unconscious. After Fred was unconscious, he then informed the FBI that they could now raid the apartment. When they raided the apartment, they entered and they killed Fred Hampton. After this, William O'Neill felt guilty and tried to kill himself, but he was unsuccessful. After the job with Fred Hampton, William O'Neill moved to California as William Hart and became unsuspected. After that, he later snuck back into Chicago, where he got into a fatal car crash. But before that, that's when he tried to take his life and jump out of the building, but his wife had stopped him and told him he had so much more to live. Here we are 50 years later after Fred Hampton's tragic death. This is what people have to say now.
Rob, some call that deadly raid the massacre on Monroe Street. Black Panther leaders Fred Hampton and Mark Clark were killed, but it was also really a turning point that took years to uncover government motives and their efforts to silence the Black Panther movement. Today, Hampton and Clark's loved ones, though, they held a moment of silence, but they will not be silenced at all as they continue to speak out about that deadly raid and today's issues as well. Ground Zero, the two-flat Chicago police raided 50 years ago, killing Fred Hampton, the chairman of Illinois' Black Panther Party, his then-fiancée 8.5 months pregnant in the same bedroom when police busted in.
When Chairman Fred looked up from the bed, and he moved real slow, and he never moved out the bed and laid his head back down slow. And I left that room with no blood on my clothing, which indicates he had not been shot while I was in the room.
Chicago police shot and killed Hampton and Mark Clark, who was the Panthers' defense captain. Today, their families, along with dozens of Black Panthers and community members, gathered to remember that moment. Blair Anderson said he survived the police raid that morning because of Clark.
In my opinion, and a little romantic.
To this day, Fred Hampton's death is still very tragic. I hope that one day the police will realize what they have done was horrible and that he did not deserve to die because he wanted to live for his community and his black heritage. R.I.P. Fred Hampton.
Going through all types of physical and mental torture. But that's all right, because we said even before this happened, and we're going to say it after this, and after I'm locked up, and after everybody's locked up, that you can jail a revolutionary, but you can't jail a revolution. Right. You might run a liberator like Eric Cleave out the country, but you can't run liberation out the country. You might murder a freedom fighter like Bobby Hutton, but you can't murder freedom fighting, and if you do, you come up with answers that don't answer, explanations that don't explain. You come up with conclusions that don't conclude. And you come up with people that you thought should be acting like pigs, that's acting like people and moving on pigs, and that's what we've got to do. So we're going to see about Bobby, regardless of what these people think we should do. Because school is not important and work is not important. Nothing's more important than stopping fascism, because fascism will stop us all.